Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. I'm doing an advanced Dungeons & Dragons advice video on Lawful Campaigns. Before I get into this though, if you enjoy my content, it would really help me out if you could hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, share my content on all of your platforms, and post a comment or two. Remember, I welcome your comments, even if you disagree with me. And for those of you who are more experienced game masters, if you have different or more information, different information, maybe you see a different way to do things, put that in the comments too. Remember, these are instructional videos. They're to help the younger game masters. If you enjoy a good book, check out my author page on Amazon.com. My pen name is H.L. Anderson, and you can find all of my books there. Hope you find something that interests you, and I hope you enjoy reading them. The tabletop role-playing game Outlaw Trails is set to be released on March 1st. That's our target date. This is the game that I talk about in a lot of my videos, Outlaw Trails. I hope you, we're putting it out so that everybody can read it. Everybody can play it and have fun. Hope you find it and hope you get it and have fun playing it. God bless you all. All right. When I was younger, Lawful Campaigns. When I was younger, I ran campaigns where law and order was a secondary thought in the overall plot. Over the years, I found that players who just run amok and have no structure to their actions tend to get bored quickly. With tabletop role-playing games, I run lawful campaigns now. And when I say lawful, I'm not talking about alignments. I'm talking about major portions of the game world having a governmental structure, laws, and law enforcement. The player characters, if the player characters get into a tavern brawl, it would behoove them to beat feet before the city guard arrives. Yeah, the po-po. If the player characters rob a prominent citizen, there will be an investigation and significant resources will be employed. And depending on how prominent the citizen, how wealthy they are, they could have special investigators and even magic. Remember, in medieval societies, nobody had civil rights, Miranda rights, or any semblance or expectation of fair treatment. There are documented cases of a justicar of various types showing up in the morning hungover from the previous night and saying, the first 20 are guilty, off with their heads. Because he had a headache and didn't want to deal with it. Okay? Yeah, that actually happened in real life. In our modern world, investigators have modern forensics, science, DNA, databases, and modern techniques. They still have a hard time solving many crimes. Imagine if they had access to wizards and clerics with spells like Detect Lie, Clairaudience, Clairvoyance, Know Alignment, and others. Their job would be a lot easier, wouldn't it? Now imagine if those same investigators didn't have to deal with those pesky civil rights and the whole innocent until proven guilty shtick. Now, imagine if those same investigators could use Gestapo tactics with impunity. Yeah, scary, isn't it? If your player characters kill some bandits or clean out a cult threatening to become a political power in the region, most rulers will thank them. There might even be a reward. If those same player characters rob a shop or steal a horse or ransack some mansion in town, that same ruler will be forced to take action. Shop owners pay taxes. A blacksmith pays taxes and probably does work for the ruler. Any citizen rich enough to own a mansion pays a shit ton of taxes. Player character, and probably has a lot of political pull too. Player characters who go on a crime spree in the city are going to have to hide or run. The more wealthy the victim, the more resources will be dedicated to the manhunt. A smart ruler will make sure his most powerful and wealthy benefactors are well protected. Excuse me. Failing that, he needs to make sure his other benefactors know that if the same thing happened to them, the criminals would be caught and an example made of them. What spells could the court wizards use to track down the guilty perpetrators? The local temples, being good and loyal establishments, would use their best abilities and their top operatives to help. Imagine a platoon of paladins being led by a cohort of powerful clerics, a private inquisition, if you will, all dedicated to bringing the perpetrators to justice. On top of all that, The king would undoubtedly order a dozen knights and at least as many other operatives, perhaps those with knowledge of the city's underworld and thieves' guilds, to scour the city and leave no stone unturned. Remember, this guy is ruler because the wealthy people keep him there. If he neglects them, he doesn't stay in power very long. He'd have to use a lot of military power to stay in power, and it's easier just to keep them happy. What all this boils down to is that should your players decide to break the law in any significant way, they may very well have bitten off more than they could chew. I'm not talking about pickpockets or petty thieves. I'm talking about serious crimes, more than 1,000 gold pieces, where people get hurt or killed. Most wealthy businessmen will have their own private security. Most city guardsmen will overlook the death of a thief who died in the course of a serious crime. Remember the golden rule: he who has the gold makes the rules. For minor crimes, the city guard will investigate and thump those responsible. Pickpockets and other thieves will be jailed. Some of the more prominent thieves, for example, the third conviction or after a serious theft, could be hanged or dismembered, usually losing a hand. In medieval society, the king's word was law. The local servitors of the king, dukes, barons, governors, etc., conduct trials and have the final word on crimes under their jurisdiction. The gist of this video is that players who are allowed to run amok will do so. If they are cognizant of the consequences of their crimes, they will be more careful and your campaign will be a lot more orderly. Everything will run smoother. I'm not saying you should target them with at every opportunity they get hung for spitting on the sidewalk. That's not what I'm saying. But and if they can get away with the crime, that's cool. Play the investigators appropriately. But don't cheat. But if the player characters run around committing all kinds of crimes against very prominent citizens, yeah, there's going to be hell to pay. That's all there is to it. I hope this helps, and I'm not trying to tell you how to run your game, but I've been doing this a long time. Feel free to use, abuse, ignore, or change the advice that I give. The objective is to make sure everybody has fun, and that's all I'm trying to do is help you guys have more fun. Hope this finds everybody well. You folks have a good one. God bless one and all.